I think it was a very nice session, a very nice start of the session. Prague is always a nice city to come back. I lived here for a couple of years between 97 and 99, so it's always nice to be back. I like the fact that we were very open during the morning. Started with Paul, of course, who was very vocal and very outspoken on a couple of things, not only related to the communications but on many topics. And I think that set a little bit of tone for the rest of the conversation, where people really engaged in a very interactive way on different topics, which I like, and I think which should be the purpose of these sessions. I think it should be less lecture-driven kind of broadcast sessions, but it should be much more about interaction with the people, interaction with the audience, learn from each other, give some best practices from real examples, and I think that happened this morning, which is, I think, the ultimate purpose of this organization, of this forum. Together with Jana and together with Maxime, we thought that the theme of the Communications Professional 3.0 would be an interesting topic. And then I decided, hey, instead of me presenting what I think, call in some experts from the field and have them share their views on several elements of what I think are important skills, attitudes, responsibilities of a future communications professional. So we touched upon creativity as one of them, planning and research as one of them, and also about the balance between global and local, being locally relevant. I think, which also has to do with understanding your markets, understanding your audience. I think these are for me three important areas that of course have been part of the communication skill set for some time, although especially data gathering and creativity is becoming more and more important, and I think for our function these are the areas where we still can improve on. And if we embrace planning, data analysis as well as creativity much more, instead of only being in the activation mode, we as a function can grow and can develop much more further. Yeah, I would not call them as the three top skills. I think these are three skills that I highlighted. I think they are important, and I think they are not always easily recognized as skills. When Paul talked about courage, I agree with Paul that we have to be courageous, and I also agree with many others of his comments, but I think as a function we still need probably extra focus on the development of a skill like data analysis, research, planning. We always leave that up to other people, where I think proper planning should become a much bigger part of the overall communications function. Proper analysis, proper research should become much more important of the overall communications professional. Creativity is something that we not always allow ourselves to do. We easily get into the activation once we get a task from one of our clients, customers, internal stakeholders. We immediately go into an action mode, where I think we have to allow ourselves the time to think and to act creative, or to drive the organization to become more creative with the help of others. I think being courageous is indeed an abstract thing. When you look at a top communications professional, he or she should be a trusted advisor / business partner in his organization or her organization or company. And sometimes that takes a skill set or a behavior like courage, because you have to push back every now and then. And I think communications role is such an important role, but it's also such a nice role, where you have to act as the external ears and eyes of the company, or also the internal ears and eyes of the company. I compare myself or our function sometimes with, and it's very old-fashioned, with the jester who stands in front of the king. And there's only a couple of people in the organization who can stand up in front of the CEO, in front of a big client, and really be open and honest and courageous on what is the functional expertise or the functional judgment of certain things, because many people are limited by the fact that you could lose your face in front of the CEO, or you have to please someone like a customer. It is not our function to please people, it is our function to bring the best opportunities to our customers, our stakeholders, and that's not an easy task. And I think these kind of things is then described as courageous, which I agree upon, but it is probably less vague if you call it that you have to be a true business partner within your organization.